Hello everyone. This video is about how to stop self-hate, which many of us struggle with. And without any further ado, let me start with the method I used to help me with self-love. So the first step to my method is to talk back to your thoughts. And I learned this method from a book by Dr. Amen Daniel. His book is called Change Your Brain, Change Your Body. It's an amazing book, and he talks about steps that you can do to talk back to negative thoughts. I didn't know this before reading this book. Um, the major point here is that you can talk back to negative thoughts and change them to positive ones. It will take time, but it works, and I speak from my own experience because I managed to change my life by changing my thoughts. The next step to my method is that you need to have positive affirmation daily. And you can do this by reminding yourself using, I don't know, calendars, using your phone, but remind yourself somehow to speak positively to yourself. Um, like, for example, today I said to myself, I believe in my ability to be successful because I managed to make it this far. So, if you noticed, I added a Y in there, and I feel that that's very important because your subconscious mind needs to understand the logic behind your why. You've been feeding it wrong information about yourself for a very long time, and now you're changing that. So you need to explain why. I know I feel that I need to do this to my brain to convince it to help me and to change. See, our brains are very smart. You cannot fool your brain. If you do affirmations without explaining or saying why, it will work, but it will not last. Next is after you explain the why, there is another why that you need to explain. And then you also need to talk about the when. So I realized that I needed to ask myself, why do I have these negative thoughts or negative feelings? Why do I feel anxious around bullies? Why do I feel scared when people are too aggressive or assertive? Um, so I struggled a lot as a kid and as an adult with dealing with bullies and people who are in your face and people who are heartless. And then I came to the conclusion that this is basically their personality, and I have no control over how they do their business and how they present themselves. But I do have control over how I react to their behavior. I should not let their behavior affect me. But in order for me to do this, I needed to go back and find out, dig deep to find out, why do I have this feeling of fear and an anxiety from bullies? And because, see, when you feel that way, it makes you feel angry towards yourself. And this starts or triggers self hate because it makes you feel like you deserve it. You can't defend yourself, so you deserve it. So I had to sit with myself, I had to meditate, and I had to learn and go back to the very first time that this feeling had occurred with me. And when I found out that first moment, I was able to talk to the little kid that was there, that was me, and bring her back to safety. And that ended my struggle with bullies. I'm not saying it ended it forever, but at least with the current bullies in my life, this worked. Um, it also ended my struggling with rude and mean people around me because they are everywhere. They are at work, they are at home. Everywhere you go, there are mean and rude people. Finally, that would be step 4 is to learn how to program your brain, or I should say, reprogram your brain. And to do that, basically think about it kind of in terms of computers or apps, if you will. So you need to change your terms of use. And you've been, if you think about it, you've been feeding your brain all these negative thoughts for all those years. And now you need to change that behavior. So, in order for you to do that, you need to change your terms. It's not easy. I know people sometimes say, hey, it's that simple. Just look at life from a different perspective. So, for some people, it's easy, but for me, it wasn't. I had to find the mechanism that works for my brain to be able to change its chemistry. And it's basically a skill. It's just like learning math and learning algebra or chemistry or anything. Um, so start by changing the words. Look at the words you would use with your best friend, for example. If you're like me and you don't have a best friend, maybe write them down on a piece of paper. I'll give you an example. I don't matter, or I feel alone. So I changed this into I matter to me. My feelings are important to me. I enjoy my time by myself, my me time. But when I decide I need to have friends or meet someone, I can do that anytime I want. You see how different this sounds from the first one? I still use the same words. I just changed the don't to do and to more meaningful words that mean something to me. So change your thoughts into something that's convincing. Don't make it like, oh, I'm sad. I'm happy now. I'm very happy. And then the world is now beautiful and flowers everywhere and hearts everywhere. No. It has to be reasonable, and you need to convince your brain of how to do that. Basically, you're changing the mind frame, and step by step, you'll see the difference. This is the end of my video. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe if you like the video. Leave a comment on how you deal with your negative thoughts and self love and self hate. And thank you so much again.